At MIT, we tend to view the world a bit differently than most. Maybe it's our need to see past the obvious, or our dissatisfaction with the status quo. Maybe we're just obsessed with asking the next question and solving the next problem. Whatever the case, we believe that there's nothing in the world that can't be made better, stronger, cleaner, faster, smarter, more life-affirming, life-saving, life-improving. So we discover, teach, ponder, and manage. We build, design, and explore. We invent, innovate, create, and cure. We apply science, and we engineer the future. Because it is exploring and solving that moves us forward. It lifts us. It's what makes the world better. It's what makes us MIT.
Very good. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to MIT and to our MIT Startup Ecosystem Conference here, our annual event, which highlights a lot of the MIT-connected startups that are such an important feature of corporate relations at MIT and our Industrial Liaison Program. My name is Carl Koster. I'm the Executive Director of Corporate Relations at MIT. And again, let me, on behalf of MIT and our office, welcome you all to this conference. I thought what I would do today, if the technology allows me, which sometimes it doesn't, to give an overview of MIT for those of you who are not as familiar with it as I am. This video will show a drone coming up over the center of campus and spanning across to Boston. And I'm going to show you what is considered one of the densest concentrations of innovation and intelligence and knowledge in the world. So we're spanning now towards where we are, down the Charles River in the Sloan School of Management. And you can see all of the buildings that have gone up. And for those of you who've walked over here this morning, you can see that we're really expanding our footprint here in the Cambridge area in a very considerable way. And I'll come back to that at the end of this introduction. So, there we go. So this is what Kendall Square looked like when I went to school here back in 1981, a collection of parking lots and old buildings, and now you can see that it's filled in enormously and continues to grow in new ways. We've seen an influx of major corporations. This is just a snapshot of major companies that have large presence in the Cambridge area, particularly the life sciences and the IT community you can see here. There are over 200 and growing companies in the area around MIT, and you can see it's, as we say in English, cheek by jowl here between the large corporations and small companies and other innovators and the MIT labs and centers. We're here, where are we? I think the Sloan School is, no, that's the bridge, but Sloan, this is Sloan over here. Yep. And then our ILP program is right here. So our office is right down the street. If you haven't had a chance to visit us, we have lovely offices, a full floor with facilities for large meetings and small meetings, so please come and join us. So what makes the area such an innovation hub? Well, it's the high concentration of talent in universities, well over 50 colleges and universities in the Boston area, 250,000 students that are here each year throughout the academic year. World-class hospitals, so this really has become the epicenter of biotech and pharmaceutical innovation, in part because of the great collaboration between universities like MIT and the medical schools and hospitals around here. Boston area is the third largest source of venture capital in the country, following, of course, Northern California. and then New York City, and Boston follows that third, and our state and local government is very interested in finding incentives and ways to keep particularly manufacturing and other high talent and paid jobs in the Massachusetts area. I think it's fair to say that MIT is one of the great university in terms of its focus on practical impact and commercial value. This stems from our roots when we were founded in the 1860s as a land-grant college to train high-end engineers and scientists. And so we've maintained that strong tie with industry through interdisciplinary research, the development of an entrepreneurial ecosystem, strong patent and licensing and commercialization activities, and we remain the #1 university in the world in terms of corporate support for a university. We focus a number of major interdisciplinary programs. I'll mention a few. One that's been around for going on 8 years, I guess now, is the MIT Energy Initiative. This is an initiative looking at a myriad of research, from renewables to enhanced oil recovery to energy storage materials focused on building sustainable energy future. The former Secretary of Energy under the Clinton administration, Ernie Moniz, was the former head of this initiative, as well as department head in physics. A lot of work now in digital learning, digital world, digital health, so this interface of digitization that's changing the landscape of companies and universities and the world around us is an area of great focus of MIT. Environment, sustainability remains extremely important, and we've launched a major sub-initiative here looking at microplastics and the kind of impact that they're having on our environment. The Quest for Intelligence was recently announced about, I guess, a year ago now, focused on artificial intelligence, machine learning, the ethics of the use of AI, and that's part of a new College of Computing that our president announced recently that is in the works as we speak. An innovation initiative has been around for a while that's developing new pilot programs to accelerate the time between invention and commercialization. And a new effort called the Future of Work is a task force that's underway that should be releasing some initial findings this fall. MIT generates more patents than any other single university. You can see here the growth in the patent portfolio. Each year, about 25 to 30 companies are spun out of MIT each year based upon intellectual property, but that understates it, as you'll see from the presentations today from the startups. There are about 100 startups coming out of MIT founded by our faculty, staff, students, and alums. This is a quick pie chart of the breakdown of support, research support, and you can see industry-sponsored research is over 20% of the on-campus research volume. Won't spend much time on the ILP program. It's been around since 1948. We have over 270 companies, and our office and the program directors are tasked with building strong relationships with companies like yours to customize access and linkages not only to our faculty and researchers, but to the startup community that we'll highlight a little bit later. In addition to interfacing with startups, we're spending a lot of time lately with executive briefings. These can be strategic retreats of major corporations, often involve 10, 20, up to 30 senior executives from a company, perhaps as an off-site strategic planning, but as a way to come to MIT to generate new thinking on some of the strategic and technological issues facing companies. Startup Exchange, I won't go into this, as Marcus will, I'm sure, talk about this a little bit later, but over 1,700, going on 1,800 MIT-connected startups. Again, we have about 270 now ILP members, over 600 targeted introduction each year. This circle or wheel gives you a sense of the great range and variety of the kinds of research coming out of MIT, from autonomy, blockchain, cybersecurity, IoT, nano, life sciences, robotics, sensors, 3D printing. So just a range of technologies that reflect the great breadth and depth of research at MIT. We're experimenting with new ways to commercialize technologies. I've highlighted two here. One is an advanced fiber consortium that was seed funded with $75 million in U.S. federal support, but we've assembled a whole ecosystem of stakeholders around it, including other universities, companies, in the development of advanced textiles for communications, for health monitoring, for changing functionality. And this has really taken off in a major way. We have a laboratory that's been renovated right over here in Cambridge that I encourage you to see. And also the engine is a $250 million venture fund, essentially, that MIT set up as a for-profit subsidiary that is in the process of funding up to 60 companies, not only from MIT, but from the area of what our president calls tough tech, so companies that require a decade or more of investment before they have products that are commercially viable. And I'll close now because our Executive Vice President, Israel Ruiz, will be here later today and talk about this Kendall Square initiative. But suffice it now to say that MIT has embarked on a over $1 billion development plan, some of which you see out here in the what used to be parking lots across the street. 3 new buildings for research and development are being created, 2 buildings for housing, and 1 building for retail and office space. In addition to this, for those of you familiar with the area, MIT won the right to develop the Volpe Transportation Center. All told, we're talking about 3 million square feet of office space and retail and so forth. So for those companies that are interested in expanding their presence here at MIT, around the MIT area, or moving in, now is a good time to explore the possibilities because there's a lot of space that will be available for leasing. And I encourage you to talk with me or others from our office or Israel when he comes later about what the possibilities are. For instance, Boeing just leased, I think it was 300,000 square feet, was it, of space in one of the new buildings going up here in Kendall Square for a major research laboratory there. And there are other companies, Pfizer and others that have come in. So if you're interested in this, please let us know and we'll be sure to make the introduction. So in summary, Boston, I think, is recognized as a place where the future is being built. Major corporations like Philips, Novartis, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, others have major offices in the Kendall Square area. Massachusetts and Boston is increasingly identified by U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Bloomberg indexes as a leader in innovation ecosystems in the world. And this is just a scroll of some of the major corporations that have offices here. And you can see it spans a wide variety of international major corporates as well. So with that, I'll thank you for your attention and turn the microphone over to Marcus Adaloff, who heads up our MIT Startup Exchange. Thank you.